This is the first time ever that I'm going to give a cyber award. And I'm very glad that I can see you two there. This is for 1540 implementation plan in Qatar. And it is for Mr. Landon, now that I see you so young, and Miss Sree. Landon was a cadet at the Citadel Military College of South Carolina and will be pursuing a master's degree in the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom. And Sree will be pursuing her third and final year at the University of Cambridge this fall. So here is.
Show it that way.
Oh, where's that?
Perfect. Here we go.
Very good. We will send it to you.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and you'll also get a check wired from the Washington Foreign Law Society, so congratulations. And now, if you want to take a few minutes to tell us about your essay contribution.
Okay. So, guys, could you go ahead and applaud for me if you know exactly what full 50/40 compliance actually looks like? Okay, all right. It's extremely nebulous. So we didn't know when we started, and we still don't really know what it looks like.
But even the UN knows. And you do know that you're setting a policy paper for the country. You need to make sure that you sell them the advantage for them. We like to let them become better global citizens, but they're pursuing their rational self-interest. And that's the fundamental premise of our paper.
And so we figured that we found was that 50/40 compliance is constantly changing with changing technology and changing innovation. A country constantly has to change to be in quote unquote full compliance. So we figured with a very changing full compliance that we should probably try to pass a proposal in a country that is constantly changing itself. And so that's why we chose Qatar. A lot of people don't know it, but Qatar is probably the most revolutionary country in the world right now. This is because they're spending almost $500 billion on infrastructure development over the next 15 years for the Qatar 2030 national vision. And we know this is going to happen because it's all being catalyzed by the World Cup in 22. This is not just another like quixotic or aesthetically appealing Middle East policy for promising to get off oil sales within the next 5 years that lack substance. This is actually going to happen. If not, they're going to be completely embarrassed in front of the world when it comes time for the World Cup. And so, doing this, they are bringing in billions of dollars worth of equipment, worth of construction goods, and right now, 40% of what they import is from the European Union. Now, currently, Qatar does not have any dual-use screening systems. So, whatever is coming in from the European Union, most of which, by the way, can be considered a dual-use good. It's almost like the Patriot Act in the United States, where if almost everyone who lives in a house with food can be considered a terrorist. Most of the goods coming from the European Union to Qatar can be considered dual-use. So, since Qatar does not have what's called a global license because they lack this dual-use screening technology, they are paying additional VAT tax, they're going through additional red tape, and it takes longer for the goods coming from Europe to get to Qatar, which is very bad for a country that has a deadline to meet and has to constantly build new infrastructure for the World Cup.
Another area where we thought that we can have a mutually beneficial solution for Qatar and the UN is public health. So with the World Cup, there's going to be a massive influx of people, and there's a huge potential for disease outbreak. You need to when the diseases will start, what the emphasis on how they'll spread the patterns. But most importantly, you need to have a process from the hospital or the general practitioner to something like the CDC. In Qatar, it's called the Supreme Council of Health. Researchers conducted like a study in the only hospital in Qatar that actually has a process like this, and they found that it takes 1.2 days. And we know it can be much better. 1.2 days is quite long, especially if it was during the time when MERS was becoming much more prevalent. We know they can move from the paper-based process into a computer-based process. And we can have a network of laboratories to test for chemicals or biological weapons. And you have the benefit of being able to observe when a disease is breaking out, and you also have the potential to like watch out if a biological weapon is being used. And you can have all these programs to increase efficiency, to improve capacity, but you need to account for human negligence as a massive risk factor in all these programs. So we thought it's really important to build security culture. But how do you create a mutually beneficial solution to improve security culture, right? So what we thought was that the National Council of Prohibition Weapons in Qatar already has a memorandum of understanding with Qatar University. So we thought that they should develop a very strong review down, that they should have a network of very young professionals who are in the fellowships and so on and so forth to become so-called dual-use regulation experts. And they will go out to industries that use these dual-use regulate goods and materials, and they would advise them on how to take security seriously. So in these three areas, logistics, public health, and security culture, we thought that we can provide mutually beneficial solutions for UN and Qatar, and so that Qatar can meet its medium-term deadline with very high stakes with national implementation.
And there's one thing I didn't mention. The Qatar, part of their 2030 national vision is they want to become the logistics hub of the world, the gateway to the East, essentially, what they call it. So currently, all the goods that they bring in from the European Union, even if they are dual use, and they do go through the extra red tape to bring them in, they can't export them outside the country, so they cannot be the logistics hub that they want to be. Instead, if they were to export them, then the liability is on the European Union, so they have to keep them at home. But if they did have this global license, then they'll be free to export whatever goods they import from the European Union elsewhere. No problem.
Well, thank you both very much, because this is what I love about the innovations, and I don't know if you were listening when I first started. I was talking about the importance of partnerships, and this was such a successful contest because the Belfer Center partnered with Stimson, we partnered with a whole bunch of people. These guys are married. That's a true partnership. So congratulations.